I'm Frederick Lauren, and I've rented the house on Haunted Hill tonight so that my wife can give a party. A haunted house party. She's so amusing. There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited. Ah, but here come our other guests.
The master will love you. Right this way.
Hey everybody, I'm Stan Miles. You're watching Dravin's Den, and thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight we have a very special guest all the way over from the UK. She's not actually here yet. She will be next year, but you'll hear more about that later. You just saw the trailer for her new show. It just recently released in the last few days, and you saw a little bit about her. That's her demo reel, actually. If you go to www.mjdixon.com, you can watch the bio in the entirety. Now, I don't think any Halloween would be complete without a pop-up by the master of macabre himself, Vincent Price. Dramatic pause, because he's Vincent Price. So that was from the 1959 House on Haunted Hill, and I hope you go hunt that movie down and watch it because it's really good. All right, enough of me. Let's get to the show. I will see you afterwards.
Hi, I'm MJ Dickson. You might know me from television shows such as Paranormal Captured, Most Terrifying Places, Most Terrifying with Jason Hawes, amongst others. I've been working in the paranormal field for over a decade, and my research has taken me from Zimbabwe to South Africa to all around the UK and the United States. If it's strange and weird, I am totally up for the adventure.
What's your name? How old are you?
26.
26.
Holy crap, I just have chills every... Oh
Yeah, that was female, right?
How old are you?
That's female.
I would love to know when this started. Has this always happened in the house? Have previous tenants ever experienced anything like this in the past? Building cells for the witches.
Yeah.
Being a medieval witch prison.
Oh my gosh.
Does that mean someone's here?
Yes, that means somebody's going close enough to the antenna to set it off. This is a digital recorder. It's just going to record frequencies much higher and lower than the human ear can hear.
Yes.
So let's ask them some questions. That's detecting a change in temperature. Something's gone really
Oh,
close
mine's gone
to
up
it.
as well.
Oh my gosh, yours is also going off.
Is that mine?
Can you tell us what it is?
Get out. That genuinely says get out.
Oh, don't freak me out now.
MJ now wants to introduce a new piece of kit into the proceedings.
The portal that we're using was built by Steve himself. And the reason I want to use this device here is because they've used it on numerous occasions and with good results. It seems that whatever's here communicating with them is used to this device. It is sweeping radio frequencies constantly, but the portal minimizes all static. So you don't have that constant white noise. You just have purely the voices coming through.
The investigation starts to take a sinister turn.
The feeling in here has gotten a bit more oppressive. Can't breathe. I was just gonna say, I feel like I can't breathe, like something's around my neck. I was quite skeptical when I first arrived at this location, and I'm walking away with a completely different perspective. Anyone who is in two minds as to whether or not this place is actually haunted, I challenge you to have a look at it for yourself.
Hey everybody, I promised you an awesome Halloween episode, and we are right smack in it. I would like to introduce to you one of the most beautiful mythical creatures on the face of this bloody blue marble, Miss MJ Dickson. MJ Dickson.
My love.
Oh, see, I can't.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm nervous. I only get to talk to you like once a year.
I know we should do this more often. I'm so sorry. I've been so busy.
Shame.
I know.
No, it's okay. Because you are also one of the most busiest people in the paranormal world. And I know for a fact a lot of that is not only because you are so talented, it's because you have so much passion for the paranormal and so much passion for everything that you do that you're like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Screw it. You know?
No, I have a list of people I'm going to haunt when I'm dead, so I won't even be sleeping then.
Well, real quick, what are your current projects? Let me start there, and then we'll do the Scooby-Doo rewind, and then we'll go backwards and go up to this point. What are you working on right now?
Oh my goodness. Right this second, I am working on In Search of the Paranormal Season 3, which I produced, directed, I'm editing it. I'm one of the editors on the show. It's my team and I that investigate locations, but we spend a full week living and working in this location, just interviewing people and investigating as much as we can. So the show, the first episode actually comes out next week. So it's panic stations at the moment to, do the final polish on the edits. I have Paranormal Captured Season 2, which is currently airing here in the UK. So we've been doing a lot of promo for that, a lot of live tweeting during the episodes and staying in touch with all the fans. I've created a card game, which is really fun. So it is a paranormal take on Cards Against Humanity. It's very similar. It's not quite the same, but it is very, very similar, and it's called Cards Against the Paranormal. So I have a couple to show you here. So I'm super excited about it because anyone who knows me knows that I have a filthy sense of humor. No surprise there. So basically, I decided to take a lot of that really dirty sense of humor and make a really fun paranormal card game. So that's pretty much the projects for now.
Okay. And I will get back to the card game. We'll go a little bit more in detail for that because I know you're doing the pre-release on Halloween, and by the time this show airs, that'll be like 2 days from when this airs. Mm-hmm. So, note to self, card game. Okay. Now, here is the question that very few people ask themselves, but I think it's an extremely important question. Who is MJ Dickson?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Fifth generation crazy lady that speaks to dead people, has a passion for the paranormal, and loves telling people stories, I guess.
Can you phrase that in the form of a question? No, just kidding. No, just kidding. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how I would describe myself. I mean, I've grown up in a psychic home. Like I say, I'm fifth generation crazy lady. my whole family's a bit away with the fairies. So I didn't have any other choice other than, growing up as a psychic medium, I was bound to get into all things paranormal and investigate it. My dad was a military man, so I come from a very strong military background as well. And so that lent itself sort of perfectly, having the skeptic, logical side, the very rational side of my dad, and the away with the fairies of my mom, speaking to family members that have passed away and premonitions and all of that. So I grew up with best of both worlds, and I've been investigating and putting it to good use to help as many people as I can for quite a number of years now.
Okay, so let's go back to when you were a little girl and you're doing little girl things. It's like part of me wants to say that you were the little girl that was playing with trucks and jumping out of trees, but then there's another part. Yeah, I know, but there's another part that can actually envision. I can see it of you playing with a doll, and wearing the dress, and with the pigtails and all that kind of stuff. I can see that too.
To be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I was a complete tomboy, still am. If you can do it, I can do it better. I am super adventurous when it comes to anything outdoors and that, and I will take you on. So I'm terrible. I'm so competitive. It's because I grew up with older brothers and I'm the baby in the family. So if the boys could do it, I could totally do it better. And as for pigtails and dresses, no, I was the weird child. My parents used to get called into my school. I nearly got expelled from school when I was maybe like 8 or 9 years old because I was telling the kids ghost stories and scaring them. So yeah, my parents got called into school all the time to get me to stop scaring the hell out of the other kids. I was literally Wednesday Addams. Literally. Yeah. The long black hair, the pale face, the creepy child. I was setting up Wiccan altars and practicing witchcraft from the age of 10. That was how I played. So the only dolls I had were voodoo dolls, pretty much. Yeah.
I know for the most part all of this, but I had to know if there was any moments that you were willing to admit where you actually did wear that pink dress. No, not at all.
No, I had one moment, and I hated it so much, but I did it for my mom. I was probably about 7 years old, and my mom's favorite South African singer was singing at a restaurant for I think it was Valentine's Day or Mother's Day or something like that. And my dad put me in this god-awful gold sequins dress with like a little white tutu and gold sparkly thing. Oh, it's just not my thing. It sparkled. And so he got this dress for me and got me all dressed up to go with my mum, and I actually sang my mum's favorite song from the singer with him on stage for her. Hated every moment.
But it was for mom,
It was for mom. I don't mind the singing. I love singing. It's just a dress, man.
Yeah, I actually think I still have a video of you playing guitar and singing in the restaurant you used to work in during open mic night.
Oh, maybe. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know what? I'm not saying I'm a good singer. Never once said I was a good singer. I said I love to sing. So, anyone that knows, if you're going on a paranormal road trip with me, driver picks the music, shotgun shuts his cake hole, and you're going to have a 4-hour concert starring me. Because, let's face it, that's what traffic is for.
All right. And if anybody can tell me where she got that phrase, I will give you an autograph from Dravin. Yeah, because I know where she got that phrase, but do you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what was it like when your switch got flipped? That initial moment when, you know what I'm talking about, when it's flipped. What was that like?
It was scary. I mean, I've grown up with all things psychic and all of that, and the stronger everything became, the more you reach that point where you go, well, hell, it's now or never. Like you're going to look into this, and this is going to be your life. This is going to be your future, your passion, your everything. Or it's going to be a hobby and you're going to get sick and tired of it and it's going to fade away. When my mediumship and that kicked in properly, I was probably in my 20s, early 20s, where I really started delving into it. And it was terrifying, you know. Never once did I go, oh, I'm going to be a professional paranormal investigator. Not then anyway. I just kind of, I fell into that. It was a natural progression. If you're really passionate about something and you genuinely believe in it and you genuinely want to find answers, the most important thing you can do in this field is wear your heart on your sleeve. I mean, I fell into it and started lecturing at conventions and things because I was brutally honest about why I was doing this. And yeah, it was scary at first. It was really scary.
So the first time that you looked into the eyes of someone that was not physically standing there, and that's something obviously you never forget, and it literally creates a footprint, you know, for the rest of your life. What was that moment like?
That particular moment, I was 21. My mediumship was there, and I had started kind of listening to Mom because I should have done my entire life, but I thought she was crazy. So I didn't want to listen to her because I took after my dad. And I will never forget that moment. You're right. It does leave that footprint. Then at the time, my fiance and I were at my parents' house, and it was the middle of winter. So we had like loads, like really thick, fuzzy blankets and things all over the bed. It was so cold. And I woke up at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I tried to turn over, but I couldn't move my legs. And I was like, I'm like tangled in the blankets or something, you know? And I looked down because I felt hands around my ankles, like pinning them down on the bed. And I looked to the end of the bed, and my uncle, who passed away when I was 4 years old, was standing at the end of the bed trying to talk to me. And he was so excited. It wasn't anything negative. He was super excited to try and give me this news. And I freaked out completely. I was hyperventilating. I was crying. I couldn't catch my breath. I was freaking out. There's a dead guy standing at the end of my bed. Yeah, okay, he's family, but doesn't change the fact that he's dead. And it was really traumatic. And my fiance woke up and he was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, yeah, there's a dead guy standing at the end of the bed trying to talk to us. I'm freaking out. And he was like, what? So he thought I was completely nuts. And this whole drama was going on. It's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And eventually I calmed down and I stopped crying. And I got up to go to the bathroom, and he was like, I'm just going to get up and make sure you're okay. Like, you're not even steady on your feet. And my mom came walking out of her bedroom, and she looked at me and she was like, wow, my girl, you look really tired. And I was like, yeah, I didn't sleep well. I didn't sleep well. And she was like, yeah, me neither. Your uncle came to visit me and he was trying to tell me something, and he was so excited that I couldn't hear what he was saying. And I could feel the color drain from my face. And I was just stood there staring at her, and she went, oh, did he come and visit you? I remember like looking at her thinking, did your dead uncle come and visit? What is wrong with this family? How is that normal? How is that completely just like, oh yeah, okay, let me go put the kettle on. Do you want a cup of tea? No, I'm traumatized. And it was that moment where, you know, we sat down and we spoke about it. And what we had realized is the next morning we got a phone call to say that my cousin, his wife had a baby. So my uncle would have been a grandfather for the first time. And he was just really excited that the new baby had arrived, and he was trying to tell the family. And it was supposed to be a really pleasant experience, you know, a family member giving you good news. However, you know, kind of overreacted a little, not gonna lie.
It's like, thanks, but your delivery kind of sucked.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe not after watching every single horror movie my entire life, hold my ankles down in the bed. You're not going to get the best reaction from me. Maybe be like, oh, hey, hi. So that moment really solidified it for me. That was where I was like, wow, this is real. They were there. And then my really nosy side kicked in, and I was like, but how? Where? How? How do we hear them? How do we see them? Where are they? Why can they come back? And I just, like, all of these questions just exploded. And that was it. That was, it's the rest of my life. Kind of stuck with it now.
Right. And I know, from, I guess I've known you for what, 6 years now?
Longer? Much longer.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe 7, 8 years.
Oh, wow. God, that much time's gone by? Wow. Okay. Now I know where this
We're getting old.
from. Okay. But I know you're very big on your research, and I know that when you do your talks, research is a big thing for you. And as rightfully so, it should be. When you get into this field, yes, believe it or not, folks, it is a form of science, and you have to do a lot of research and exploring different avenues, doing experiments, discovering what the equipment does. So, was that your immediate next response? Was to go
Absolutely. Yeah. So if anyone wants to get into investigating the paranormal and you really want to take it seriously and find answers, read, and read. Research as much as you can, and you'll find that you start going down rabbit holes. So you're not only researching everything about ghosts and spirits and elementals and whatever else is out there. You don't want to just have a really good knowledge of, oh, okay, that's kind of the base. You want to understand how the tech works. You want to understand how the tech is built. What could affect it other than something paranormal? What natural factors do you have to take into consideration every time you're on an investigation? What are the correct investigation protocols? You want to make sure that you learn things like, okay, people are experiencing a lot of stuff in this particular room. And at certain times of day, it seems to be more active. People experience more. But when you really dig into it, you'll find that when you speak to people and you do your research, everything's a bit similar. So they all feel paranoid. They all feel the hair on the neck stand up. They all feel nauseous, dizziness, headaches, etc., etc. Then you start digging into things like higher levels of EMF in a room that are caused by maybe a fan kicking in at a certain time of day. And you'll realize that there's these patterns. But then you have to understand electromagnetic field energy. And then you have to understand different sound frequencies, infrasound, different light spectrums. So you start going down rabbit holes to understand each thing separately. And yes, those may not be paranormal, but you cannot investigate the paranormal without having that knowledge, being able to debunk. So research is everything. Getting a good foundation of knowledge across the board is your first point that you start with.
Now, I'm going to ask you this, but then we're going to kind of backtrack to something else. But
sure.
I know you walk a very fine line in between what you could describe as the logical and the quote unquote illogical. You know, you have your foot in two different worlds, the seen and the unseen. And I've always admired you for the fact that even though you were born into the unseen, you take the tools we have on this plane in order to question it. And
absolutely.
And to make sure, even though you know, your heart is telling you, okay, there's a dude standing right there in front of me. But I'm going to take the tools in the really real world, and I'm going to prove there's a dude standing right in front of me.
Exactly. So that's the main reason I got into investigating the paranormal, purely because I'm clairaudient. It's my strongest way of picking up information from the other side is being able to hear them. I do get things sort of, you know, through claircognizance, where I get things as if it's my own memories. I do sometimes have a bit of clairvoyance, where I have flashes and images and things pop into my head, and I'm able to put all of that together and build a picture. Now, it's fine for me to go, okay, I can hear this really grumpy dude, and I get this flash of what he looks like, and he's standing in the corner of the room, and he's just a bit grouchy, but I can hear him. Then I took it that next step of going, okay, I can hear him, I know he's there, but I need to prove to you that he's standing there and that I can hear him and that I'm not completely nuts. And so that's why EVP became my thing. Electronic voice phenomenon is being able to record a sound or a voice that is on an electronic device that you don't hear at the present time of recording. So you guys may not hear that voice that I'm hearing, but if I have an EVP recorder, there's a slight chance that we will record that same frequency and you'll be able to hear it. So it was very important for me to prove everything that I was picking up psychically and to validate it, to back it up. And to know that sometimes, you know what, sometimes the psychic isn't always right. Sometimes we get it wrong. Sometimes we go, oh my gosh, there's this incredible presence or this feeling that I'm picking up in a room. But again, go in there with the scientific tools, go in there with the scientific knowledge of what to look for. And you may find that in that particular room, there's really low level infrasound that's giving you that feeling that there's someone else there. So you have to have a balance. You have to absolutely go in with a skeptical perspective first. That's your first and foremost. Not everything that goes bump in the night is paranormal. I mean, I caught a full-bodied apparition on camera. It's incredible. It is absolutely the most convincing piece of paranormal evidence I have ever seen. It's a full-bodied apparition that steps into a doorway and disappears. I debunked it. I watched a 7-second clip for about 5 hours straight, over and over and over, because everybody that saw it was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I went, Psychically, I didn't feel that happening. What I'm seeing on camera, it doesn't match. This feels like a living person. This feels like I can debunk it. And I did. It was unintentional, impeccable timing with cameras in the location we were investigating and the trick of IR light. And basically one of the investigators was illuminated with an additional IR light for a split second in the doorway. So we see them step out in the doorway, but then that IR light is removed. So it looked as though they just disappeared because the camera didn't have enough IR of its own to be able to keep illuminating the person that was in the doorway. It literally just disappears. They still stood there, but you can't see them on the camera. And it was just the most incredible timing. And everybody was like, oh my God, apparition! Wow, holy grail! And I was sitting there going, no. Don't buy it. I don't believe it. I was so angry when I debunked it because it was so cool.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, like, if you're going to be an actual investigator, you have to take both sides. You you have to be skeptical, you have to debunk. And I'm like a dog with a bone. If I think there's anything fake, I will not let it go.
So, what would your advice be? Because I mean, I know that when I was doing the investigation circuit, and I would get calls in the middle of the night, you know, oh my God, something just smacked me in the back of the head. Will you please come over here and tell me I'm not crazy, da 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 da. You get over there and you find some kind of rational explanation for it. And then they get mad at you. And they're mad because they want to believe it was paranormal so bad. You know, it's like, you know, you called me to come over here in the middle of the night to tell you whether or not you're bonkers. And I'm telling you, the cat smacked you in the back of the head when you were walking by the shelf. I'm sorry, it happened.
Right?
You know? So, and the reason I asked this is because people who grow up in households that the paranormal is very taboo. It's not Christ-like. It's not accepted. You know, they're constantly asking themselves, how do I know I'm not crazy? And do I believe in it so much and then get really disappointed? You know, does me believing in it make it real? I mean, there's just so many questions that you ask yourself.
Yeah.
You know, what is your advice to someone that, say, knows it wasn't what they thought it was, and people are getting mad at them because you're trying to explain that it's not paranormal? You know what I mean? Am I explaining that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, look, if somebody's asking you for help and they are convinced that something paranormal has happened, and if you're going in there with that skeptical point of view and you're going in there for actual answers to help the person, then no matter how angry they get, no matter what they say, you're there to do a job. You're there to make sure that A, they're safe, and B, that, you know, if there is something going on, that you can help put their mind at ease or help sort the problem out. It's very rare that I take on private cases because there's, first of all, I don't have the time to breathe. So I'd like to do more, but I'm very selective with the private cases that I do. And here's why. So anyone that's doing this in the field and you're thinking of doing private cases and that, I'm going to give you both sides of the story here. As an investigator, you are a counselor, you are an investigator, a researcher, you are so many different roles. And you also have to have a really good knowledge of medical conditions and other things that it could be other than paranormal. Here is an example of a case that I did. Not too long ago, this guy kept phoning me, like there's crazy stuff happening in his house. He is living with his mom, who's an elderly lady. He's in his 40s. She's not experiencing anything. However, he is being attacked daily. He's burning like 4 or 5 sage sticks in his house a day because he just cannot live this way. It sounded like a really extreme case, and I thought, you know what, let me just go and help this guy out and see what's going on. When I got to the house and I did all the research and I went through and I interviewed him separately from his mom, I went with a colleague of mine, never go alone. And you can also kind of divide and conquer. And what I found was this gentleman had a history with heroin addiction. Yes, he may have been clean at the time. However, from substance abuse and alcohol abuse for so many years, he started suffering very badly with his mental health. He ended up in prison for some time. He had just got out of jail, which they don't tell you this on the phone. Like, hey, I just got out of jail for killing someone. You want to come over and check if it's paranormal? So note to self, please don't just take on any case.
No.
And I got there and realized that this guy was actually suffering from delusional infestation. So do you guys call it Morgellons disease?
Okay.
Sometimes people that have gone through substance abuse and that, their delusional infestation is that they have bugs crawling under their skin. You hear it with a lot of ex-addicts and people going through a lot of like hectic PTSD and stuff as well. And so sometimes they'll pull worms out of their eyes, or there's something, they call it a matchbox presentation. So they'll find these little pieces of bugs and put it in a matchbox and bring it to you and be like, oh my God, I told you there's bugs everywhere. They're crawling under my skin. So this guy's infestation, his delusion was that it was paranormal, that it was demons attacking him. So he would take his phone out and he would film around the room and he'd be like, oh my God, there's demons everywhere. I see them. Look, it's on camera. But if you looked at the camera, there was nothing. He was seeing them in his head. And I helped get him the mental health advice and doctors and etc. that he needed, all the support that he needed. It wasn't paranormal in any sense of the word. We made sure to clean the house up and get everything sorted out. And he got really angry with me. Really angry with me. Not that we got him, mental health support and everything, because I said it wasn't paranormal. And he got really dangerous. So I had to pull myself away from that completely. But on the other hand, you can look at somebody who's going through something paranormal or what they think is paranormal in their lives. And if they're being traumatized by this all the time, whether it is mental health issues or whether it is high electromagnetic fields in their house that are making them feel sick, or carbon dioxide leak that's making them feel really, really sick and can actually end up killing them. Or whatever the scientific reasoning is that you find and you can debunk and help sort out, they are so set that no one's believing them. They're in that mindset so often that it's very difficult to be a winner in that situation, if you see what I mean. No matter how you help them, no matter what you find, you're still going to be the bad one.
Yeah.
So if you take on private cases at all, it's very seldom that they are extremely rewarding, as in it's a big happy ending and whatever. You will get backlash from it. You can end up in very bad situations. So another reason I tend to try and avoid them.
No, and I understand it because, I've been yelled at a few times for, proving it otherwise. And it's never a pleasant experience, but, you asked for help. I gave you help. I'm sorry you didn't like the answer.
There's telltale signs, though, when you take on a private case. There are telltale signs. Look at their bookshelf. If they've got Zach Bagans' book about, whatever his show is and all of that. Or if they've got
bring him up.
Or if they have and nothing against Zach, nothing against his book or anything. But what I'm saying is if somebody has a whole bookshelf full of occult and paranormal and witchcraft books, or heaven forbid, people still have DVDs on their shelves, but every single DVD is a horror movie, or their house is full of little witchy things and skeleton-y things and whatever. Immediately, that person has a fascination with paranormal. They're probably watching paranormal TV shows. They've seen all the equipment. It looks really cool. Oh my God, my house is haunted. Can you please bring all your equipment and come and fix it? But I just really want to see everything up close. And when you prove that there's nothing there, then you're the bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so let's go, and I'm sorry, one of the other things about this show is that I'm very random, but you know me long enough to know that.
Oh my God, I go on tangents, so you're going to have to ring me in.
Okay. All right. So we know your current successes. We know how you started, but this was not a gallop down the golden brick road. Or yellow brick road, sorry. What were the hurdles? What was the walls that you had to go through from the tomboy to the mythical unicorn that I know you are?
Wow, where do I start? This was not easy. In the beginning, I really wanted to prove that I knew what I was talking about, I would research day in and day out. Because heaven forbid somebody with more knowledge, more experience, put me on the spot and went, okay, you think you know what you're talking about. What do I do in this situation? What is this? What is that? And if you couldn't answer it, and if you couldn't be like, oh, actually, have you ever thought of it this way? You were frowned upon in the industry. You were kind of like, all right, you're just in it to make money. You just want to events, paranormal thing, you know, company, or you just want to be on TV, which was never the case for me. I loved the paranormal so much. I wanted to share everything with other people. I wanted to teach as many people as I could everything that I'd learned. And I wanted to prove that I knew what I was talking about. So if I could help somebody, I was armed with that knowledge. And in the beginning, like, a lot of people will hit you down. A lot of people will do the whole, oh, but it's the unknown. How can you know everything? I don't know everything. The most important words you can say in the paranormal field are, I don't know. You do not have the answers to everything. So anyone that starts out in this field and they go, oh, well, I can answer that. Yeah, okay, if you can answer it and you know what you're talking about and you're armed with that knowledge, great. If you're going to sit there and wing it, you look like an idiot. If you say, I don't know, and you learn more, that's great. So one of the hurdles I had to get over was, A, being a newbie in the field in the beginning and kind of proving that, look, I'm learning. I'm not just here for like, oh my gosh, this is a cool hobby. I want to make a difference. And then secondly, I'm female. You know, so the industry is usually these muscly guys and, you know, it's just a male-dominated industry. So as a woman coming up in this industry, it was hard, man. You work constantly to get the same opportunities that some of the guys do. Nothing wrong with that, but it's a guy's industry. It really is. You know, if a 6'9" guy walks in that's all muscles and it's like, come at me, bro, you're gonna feel a bit safer, like, oh, this guy's got it. He's got all the tech. He's got it. If a 5'2", 3 chickies high, tiny little female walks in, you're like, this guy's just gonna throw you against a wall before you can even say boo. You know, so there was challenges with that. My biggest challenge was cancer. I started doing talks around the world. I was trying to spread knowledge and do whatever I could. And then I got diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. And it was very weird how that happened as well. The house I was living in at the time had a very negative entity in it that I could not get rid of no matter what I tried. And I woke up the one day, early hours of the morning, and this guy was stood at the end of the bed. And I kind of woke up and went, out. I don't think so. Not, this is my space. This is my sanctuary. This is my space. And he just looked at me and went, we'll make you sick. And he left. And 2 months later, I was diagnosed with a cancerous tumor that was the size of a football. And I didn't even know it was there. It happened like that. I was rushed in. I had surgery, 2 surgeries, in fact, that saved my life. I went through almost 2 years of chemotherapy. I was a complete Goldilocks. I looked like Gollum for 2 years of my life, and which hits your self-esteem and everything. You know, you're already feeling like crap, like you're completely under the weather. You're so sick. You've had these major surgeries, and then you have to deal with, okay, so I don't look the way I used to. I don't want people to see me. I don't want to be in public. Your whole self-image, your whole self-esteem, your everything is shattered. Everything in a heartbeat. And it took a lot of a lot of guts, a lot of fighting, a lot of believing that I could get through it. And ultimately, it was, the people that I'd met in the paranormal field that got me through it. It was the people like yourself that stood by me through everything and cheered me on from the sidelines and told me, you'll get back there, you'll be healthy, you'll do it. And I'm 5 years clear, and touch wood. Yeah, so, it was a really difficult journey on that side as well, just dealing with health and all sorts of things. But what you put in, you'll eventually get out. If you work hard, you can do anything. You can follow any damn dream. You write it down, you stare at it every damn day, and you take baby steps towards it, no matter how small. You'll get there. I did. Yeah, a lot of hard work, but I'm here.
Yes, you did.
And I'm this side of the Ouija board.
I'm going to screenshot that thumbs up. And every time that you get down, I'm just going to send that to you.
Right? I do hide in my blanket fort every now and again. Everybody knows that about me. I'm not shy. We all have bad mental health days. I have days where I question, why the hell am I doing this? Why am I working so hard? What am I working towards? What is my goal? Where am I going? I have days where I question everything. I have days where I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to deal with people in the paranormal field and their cattiness. Yeah, I always joke. The paranormal field is less Wicca and witchcraft and more bicker and bitchcraft. It's awful. It's terrible. You're constantly dealing with little paranormal teams that are like, oh, this is my location. Okay. So you do have days where you just don't want to do it. And that's okay. Those are days that I get in my blanket fort and I have a big bowl of Greek chicken soup because it's chicken soup for the soul. And I watch really crap paranormal television so I know how to make my shows better. And I support my friends and their work and yeah, everybody has their down days too. So don't let things get you down.
Good advice. Good advice. Now, you've been married to Duncan for how long?
Too freaking long.
Guys, she is married, so believe me.
I am married to my best friend. He is a complete pain in my butt, but yeah, he is my partner in crime. How long have I been? 13 years? 13, yeah. We've been together for 17 years now. Oh my God. Old. It's horrible. People get less for murder.
Now, I know that, it's like you said, he is your best friend and he's your partner in crime. And it's a blessing to find someone in your life that will support you through all of your insanity and all of your good moments, bad moments, and everything else. And he's so not paranormal.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no, he's
complete opposite.
Yeah, it's like watching Animal House and you see the rugby guys. He's like the rugby guy. Yeah.
Yep.
But so how does that play in? How do you? Because there's got to be trials and tribulations in that within itself. Because when you started walking down this road to be producer and to be, when you stopped being Mariana Venturas Dickson and you became MJ Dickson. Yeah. Did that cause any problems, or was he just like, cool?
we had our moments. I'm very lucky. I grew up with my husband. I met him when I was 12. He was 14. We were next door neighbors. I married the boy next door, much to my parents' dismay. They were not happy in the beginning.
Yeah.
So the first day I met him at 12 years old, I was the new kid in town. He was introduced to me by other kids in the neighborhood. He walked into my house and I was sat there teaching people how to do crystal dowsing. Day one. And he was like, "What are you doing? Are you some kind of a witch?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually I am." And he was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And so he knew from day one, like, my family's batshit crazy. Like, day one, he was like, I know what I'm in for. So when I had that experience, with my uncle standing at the end of the bed, and we had just got engaged at the time, I was like, "You sure you want to marry this?" Like, "Are we sure about this?"
Right.
And he was so supportive. He was just brilliant. When my mediumship side kicked in really strongly, in the beginning, what a lot of people don't know is when a spirit has a message to pass over, they can be really adamant. They can be like, "Tell them, tell them, tell them, tell them." And in the beginning, I would get really like, "Oh my God." And I'd walk up to the person and be like, "For the love of crying in a bucket, Grandma Joe says hi. She's fine. Just deal with it." And people would like freak out because not everybody's ready for that message. Like, there's a certain etiquette, right? You don't just like get psychic Tourette's and spit it out at people. And Duncan, in the beginning, he would see that happen. And he would just walk up to me and put his hand over my mouth and like drag me away. Like, nope. He was like a psychic removal service. But he was always supportive. It was when I started doing television that it became really difficult. I felt very strongly that I needed to keep my private life just that, private. I didn't want him to feel like he had to be in the limelight because he's just not that kind of person. He's very chilled and he doesn't like any of that. So it was very difficult for me to explain to him, like, "Hey, okay, I'm going to these conventions and stuff, but I don't talk about you because that's my slice of heaven. Like, I want to keep that private. It's not that I'm going out there and I'm meeting all these guys or, And it was difficult in the beginning, but I took him on a paranormal trip with me. He met everybody and he was like, "Actually, I really like these people. They're pretty cool." And so now, annoyingly enough, I get asked to speak at paranormal events only if I take my husband with me.
Oh.
Yes, because people just love him. He's a very much a people person. He's a lovable guy. He's got a great sense of humor, and he brings the party. You want to have like a beer drinking buddy, that's someone that's gonna sing karaoke and get crazy on the dance floor. That's your person.
That's your guy, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And that's definitely the counterbalance to the insanity of the filming world and, everything that you take on. So, I mean, it's a perfect balance,
And, you go through times. I live with my husband in a small house. It's not exactly a mansion. And we will be in the same house and I won't see him for like 4 days because our time schedules, because I do a lot of work with the States. So, when it's 3 o'clock in the morning for me, I'm still having Zoom meetings and production meetings, and he's fast asleep by then because he's got to be up at like 7 a.m. in the morning and I'm just getting to bed. We literally, like, I get into bed, he gets out and goes to work. So we go through periods where we don't even see each other. It takes its toll, but he understands.
Yeah. I mean, having somebody there to support your passions is extremely huge.
Absolutely.
Well, so let's get into a little more about what you're doing. The card game. when in the hell did you find time to write out all of this stuff? Like whenever you went to the bathroom, you just like took a notepad. It's like, okay, this is my time to make a game.
No, I can't take full credit. So, in 2016, 2016, when I was diagnosed with cancer and that, I decided, do you know what? If I'm going to go out, I am going out with a bang. So I'm going to organize a paranormal convention, which could double up as my wake. Who knows? Either way, bring digital recorders and we're going to have a great time. So I organized the Sage Paracon. I had no idea what I was doing. Organized it from a hospital bed. And the weekend came. It was a great little event. It was tiny. It was really small because England have no idea what a paranormal convention is, especially not then. And so the Sunday came and I was sitting there with some of the speakers, Jeff Belanger and Frank Sinelli and a few people. And I was like, crap, how do I entertain these guys now? Like, what do I do? Convention's like over. I was like, okay, thanks, bye.
Right.
And so I was like, anyone want to play Cards Against Humanity? Should we do this? And it turned into a Sage Paracon tradition. So every year at the convention, on a Sunday night, whoever's left, we would just sit and play Cards Against Humanity and have a few beers and some snacks and just talk the whole night.
Yeah.
What started happening was we would start realizing that, so for instance, somebody would say something really inappropriate, just really rude or really funny, and I have a wicked sense of humor, and I would start writing it down. All these little one-liners and things, I'd start writing it all down. And I created Cards Against the Sage Tribe. And it was our private deck that, it had everyone's personal names in it with who said what. And it was hysterical. We would sit and play that for hours and just laugh so hysterically. And a friend of mine who's basically like my sister from Holland, Elizabeth, she sat down with me the one day and we just wrote everything. And somebody said to me the one day, they were like, yeah, but it's Cards Against the Sage Tribe. It's a lot of personal jokes. So I thought, you're right. It's funny as hell, but it's very personal.
Yeah.
And so I decided to do Cards Against the Paranormal. It's all paranormal themed. For instance, like one of the white cards, one of my favorite white cards is the wonderful weight loss that demonic possession brings. Like there's some that's really tame. Yeah. There's others that I blush when I read them out loud, and that's saying something because I have no filter. So yeah, eventually I wrote the whole deck. It's 600 cards. 600. Well, it's a huge deck.
It does make me feel a little better that these weren't all written during bathroom breaks. Because
no. Well, some of them were, but not all of them.
So you too can make a Cards Against whatever. Yeah. So you are doing the pre-order release on Halloween, correct?
We are, yeah. So they'll be available on my website for Sage Paranormal. So it's sageparanormal.co.uk. And we should have the pre-orders available with some sample photos and things on Halloween. Yeah. So I'm actually waiting for the final proofread that comes back beginning of next week, end of this week. It is the end of this week. So Monday, I should have the cards. I had to get a friend of mine who's a writer just to proofread anything because my punctuation's terrible, and I type them really quickly. And I had to actually send it with an apology because they're that rude. I had to apologize to my printers that I'm working with. I was like, if you read them, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't write all of these on my own. I'm not that disgusting, I promise. Like, I'm not that bad. It's filthy. I love it.
So, did you put an apology card in there, in the deck? If this
I should probably do that.
You know, before you get started, if this offends you, you might want to keep your receipt. You know?
Oh no, that's going on the box.
Yeah.
No, like on the box, as if you're easily offended, do not buy this game.
Yeah.
Like, please. Because I do not have time to get emails going, oh my God, it's so offensive. Why'd you buy the game then?
Buy the game.
It's a disgusting game for paranormal enthusiasts.
Yeah. Okay, where can we see some of these productions that you're doing? Because I mean, you have a list of them. Yeah, let's start there. So you have a list of productions. You've been an actress in a couple of them. What, you know, lay it out there, girl.
Okay, let's talk TV. So, I owe all my television work to one particular person. If it wasn't for him, I would have done it. It would have taken many more years to break into the TV industry. But it was Nick Groff. I actually got a phone call out the blue in 2018. And like I said, I wanted to do it. It was never like, oh, I want to be famous. I just wanted to tell people stories because that's cool. I love stories. And Nick called me up and he was like, so we're doing Paranormal Lockdown in the UK and some of our locations have fallen through. Can you get us locations? And I was like, yeah, right. This is Nick. Sure. Like, click. And he was like, no, this is Nick Groff. We kind of need your help. Are you in?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I helped get all of their UK locations for them. And from doing that with Paranormal Lockdown, I got offered, because people in TV talk, and once you have a bit of TV knowledge and experience, then, you know, I started consulting on a few shows behind the scenes. And then I got asked to do Paranormal Captured Season 1, which was fantastic. I love the show. And then that aired in the States as well on Travel Channel, I believe. And then from there, I fell in love with the production side. I'm an organizer. I love organizing things. I love putting stuff together. And when I started doing TV production, a mutual friend of ours, Laura Marini, she called me up and said, we're doing a production in the UK. They need a UK fixer, somebody to produce the stuff in the UK. And do you want to do it? Like, I'll get you an interview with them. And I was like, yeah, sure. I want to be a UK fixer. What's that? What do I do? Like, I don't even know what it was. So I did Most Terrifying Places. And then again, that just snowballed and I got offered loads of production work. I've done Hotel Paranormal Season 2, Most Terrifying with Jason Hawes. You're testing my knowledge now. I can't think of everything. In Search of the Paranormal, we're now in Season 3. Paranormal Captured, I've just done Season 2. And then I've also I worked as a producer on Season 3 of Destination Fear, which starts tomorrow on Discovery Plus. Yeah, kind of excited. Yeah.
So if you have Discovery Plus.
Yeah, it's October the 16th. This episode starts airing. And I believe it'll be new episodes every Saturday. I only worked on a few of the episodes for them. And I sent the team to Ireland.
Nice. But,
yeah.
All right, so when do we get to see you in front of the camera versus behind the paper?
Okay. In front of the camera, Paranormal Captured Season 2, fingers crossed, is heading to Canada, Poland, Germany. I know that's going there pretty soon, like now. It should start airing over there. I think it starts in the States pretty soon as well. So hopefully in the next month or two, Paranormal Captured Season 2 will be airing on Travel Channel, either Travel or Discovery Plus. Don't quote me, but I know it's going to the States. In Search of the Paranormal, you can watch Season 1 and Season 2 right now. I will warn you, it is made with like zero money. It's a passion project. Yeah, this is a passion project. It's a web series. And we as a team put our everything, our heart and absolute soul into the series. And there's 2 seasons currently on iconic.com. And that's iconic with a CK. So ICK. I know.
Okay.
And we are launching season 3 of In Search of the Paranormal next week, Sunday. So yeah, 24th is the first episode available on Iconic, and they'll be every week, every Sunday night. There'll be a new episode on there for season 3 as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You are, as you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, you are the brainchild of the UK's largest paranormal convention.
Yep. So I did the first convention, and like I say, I was pretty much organizing my wake. I didn't know if I was going to make it through chemo. I didn't know if I was going to, I just wanted to go out with a bang and bring people together to learn more about the paranormal. That is what I'm passionate about. And I finished that weekend and everyone went, "Oh my God, MJ, this was great. When is next year?" And I went, "No."
Oh.
Are you kidding me? I didn't think I was going to be alive. Never mind doing another one. And so they talked me into it. I did another one, and I got to the Sunday and I went, "I'm never doing this again." And then I did it another 4 times. And each year it's grown. It's still a very intimate event. We cap it at 200 people. I don't want it to go any bigger than that, because I feel like you lose the ability to hang out with all of these speakers all weekend and genuinely pick their brains. Like, really get to learn as much as you can from them. That is what the weekend is for. Yes, we have awesome VIP parties. Yes, we have VIP dinners and investigations, and we have fun and there's humor. But it's about learning and bringing a community together. And it's done really much better than I ever thought it would. It's become a family. So, yeah, we're doing one in the States. I'm excited.
Hopefully. So I know that November, your borders open back up, which unfortunately is a few days too late for the Belgrove Paracon.
Yep.
But in which this t-shirt right here was actually from the one 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So next year there will be one at the Belgrove Plantation in King George, Virginia. Are there tickets still available for that?
4.
But you got mine, right? Mine's reserved.
I have got yours.
Okay, it's on the
So we have 4 VIP tickets left for the entire weekend, which includes a paranormal investigation with all the speakers. It's talks and workshops and Q&As all weekend. We have a VIP meet and greet evening with some canapes, and we're going to have some beers and get to know each other. And so it's a whole weekend package for all 3 days. We have 4 of those left. What we are going to do is do a sort of a day ticket for people to come and meet the speakers. You won't have access to the talks or anything. It is just a meet and greet ticket and access to all the vendor stalls for the weekend, and it's $15 for the weekend. So for $15, you can come down to Belgrove. You can grab yourself a beer, grab some food from one of the food stalls, browse around, do some shopping, get your book signed by Richard S. Stepp, have readings by the psychic mediums, come and meet the speakers and hang out. We'll be at our stalls all day during the day when we're not doing our talks. But people can still come and hang out with us if they want a day ticket.
Cool. That's awesome. And that's really bigger than what you may think. You may be thinking. Just hanging out with some of these folks, you learn so much. You really
absolutely. And it's a very chilled environment. It's a very cool environment.
It is.
Just come and hang out. It's pretty.
Catch MJ over smoking a cigarette. It's like, you know.
It's funny. Everybody sees me on TV and they think like, Oh, you're really prim and proper. I swear like a damn trooper. I'm always the one hiding in the back with the cool kids having a cigarette. I'm the instigator, like, here, drink more beer.
Yes, she really is Wednesday Addams.
Just a fun one.
Yes. Is our good friend Trunk Meat Carl going to be there too?
He will be there as well. Yeah.
Trunk Meat Carl is Carl Hutchinson. He's a member of the Sage Paranormal Tribe, the original investigation team. And he's been on a couple of different shows as well, being interviewed for his experiences. So if you ever see Carl Hutchinson, he is the man, the myth, the legend. Hi, Carl.
Hey, Carl. He has an awesome merchandise line called Trunk Meat Carl, like t-shirts, and I'll let him tell you the story of how that came about because it was real funny.
Yes. Actually, I whisper in his ear and tell him I want to bring him on and talk about that.
I will do that this evening for you.
Cool. I would love to have him on. So I guess to wrap this up, if there's anything I'm forgetting, please tell me because, I'm old.
Oh, I do have one thing.
Okay, what you got?
I started Patreon. So for those who are familiar with Patreon, it is a platform where there's different levels of membership. So anything from like $4 a month up to, I don't know, like $50 a month. And you can choose whichever tier you want. It's where I create exclusive content for my patrons on the site. And so you get access to, depending on which level, if we just take like the basic Sage Tribe, Sage member, I think it's like $5 a month to be a member of the Sage Tribe for this platform. And you get access to haunted history blogs that I write. We do Patreon hangouts where we have movie nights via Zoom together. You get access to all of the lectures from every Sage Paracon. You get the videos. So if you can't be at Sage Paracon in person, you can still watch all the lectures. It's the Sage Paracon Video Vault. We have weekly interviews with people. So it's my virtual bar. It's called the Boozy Baboon. And I bring guests on once a week, every Tuesday night. And these are pre-recorded because of our crazy schedules. But for instance, I've had Richard Estep, Karen A. Dahlman from the Talking Board Historical Society. I've had psychic mediums. I've had investigator friends. And we just have a drink. And we talk about anything paranormal, whatever comes up, whether it's spirit guides or investigating or haunted locations or whatever the hell comes up. So yeah, there's a lot of content on there. There's spiritual blogs, how-to guides, all sorts of things. But every month on a Wicked Workshop tier, I teach an in-person 2-hour workshop of your choosing every month. And then I film a video of the entire workshop separately with a bunch of written information in that for you as well. And you can watch that video anytime you want if you can't make the live Zooms. And there's a bunch of information to download. So we've done things like how to read tarot cards and the history of tarot cards, spell casting and witchcraft, herbs and how to use different herbs and things in medicinal ways and like a holistic way and in a magic spellcasting way. We've done the history of EVP and EVP experiments that you guys can try. So it's really jam-packed, full of content, and you get access to my book as I write it.
Wow.
Yes. It's a lot. That's what I do behind the scenes.
This is why you're the mythical unicorn, because holy crap, girl, you do so much.
And my TV show, In Search of the Paranormal, the entire TV show is available on there. Patrons also get first access to the show. So you see it before everybody else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And
This is why I work 18 hours a day.
yeah, she sleeps for 5 minutes, gets back up, and does it all over again.
I mean, sometimes when I sneeze, my eyes close.
I mean, I actually recall I was talking to her, I don't know, at some point, some random point, and I said, "Did you eat?" She's like, "Oh crap, I forgot to eat."
Yeah, I forget to eat all the time. Unless somebody actually like physically puts food down in front of me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm hungry.
But all right,
I literally eat, breathe, and live the paranormal
I know.
constantly.
And
It's great.
That's what passion means, you know.
Absolutely.
That's what passion means. So I have 2 questions. Then I'll wrap this up. I know you got hours of more work to do. If you were able to summon your 10-year-old self and you only had 2 sentences that you could tell her before the portal was broken, what would you tell her?
Keep being weird and follow your passions.
Fair enough.
Done.
That's the most important one. Keep being weird.
Keep being weird. Be a weirdo.
What is it? Let your freak flag fly?
Yes. Amen to that.
And the second question, anyone who is, and it doesn't have to be just the paranormal, but anyone who has a passion, something that they literally feel in their gut, but they're constantly coming up with reasons that they can't do it. Maybe it's because of the environment that they're living in. Maybe it's because they're just generally unsure of themselves. Someone who has literally created her own success, and you had your fight with cancer, and you beat it. You're standing on this side of it. What would your advice be to someone that just needs that extra little push to get through that doubt?
Whew, okay. First of all, I can't take credit for all of my success on my own. I have a tribe behind me. I have the most supporting people in my team, in my family, in my friends, in people in the paranormal field, in the television field. So my advice is surround yourself with people who uplift you. Anyone that puts you down and makes you feel terrible about yourself, you don't need that in your life. People who truly care about your passions will help you get there. People who really care about you. So surround yourself with good people. That's number 1, because it takes a village. You don't just make it happen on your own. Number 2, be careful who you step on to get to the top, because it's the same people you'll meet on your way back down. So always be kind. Kindness and having your tribe of people will get you further than pretending you know everything. Never stop believing in yourself. Don't ever stop believing in yourself. No matter what life throws at you, you can get through it. Think of your worst day that you've been through. You're still here. You survived it. So, you know, if you can survive that, you can survive anything. And I think focus. Just, like I always say, decide what it is you want, write that shit down, and work on it every damn day. Whether it's a small baby step or whether it's something huge that you're making leaps and bounds in the field, whatever it is, work on it every day.
Great advice. Well, thank you, MJ, so much, because I mean...
Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? Like, thank you. I love this.
Well, you know, you're obviously always welcome on when you have the time. And you're more than welcome to watch the other shows. I'm live every Thursday night, 8 p.m. my time. I know that's like 3 in the morning your time, but it's all
Might be awake.
it's recorded. But yeah, thank you so much. And please tell everybody hi. I want to give a shout out to Sam I Am, Samantha Mason.
I still haven't sacrificed her on an investigation yet. I always tell her she's going to be my sacrifice.
No, is she still doing her podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sam Mason, she has, forgive me, Sam, I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name.
PSH Radio.
What's that?
PSH Radio.
PSH Radio, thank you. Sam, don't kill me, I'm so sorry. But she was actually an early influence that started my mind thinking that I wanted to do Draven's Den. And so thank you, Sam I Am. Private joke.
She is an inspiration.
She is. She truly is. So, yes, I owe part of this to you. Thank you, Sam. And thank you again, MJ. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the wonderful and the beautiful MJ Dickson. Make sure you find her at mjdixon.com. You can also find her on stageparanormal.com. Follow her at her adventures.
Yep, you can find me on Facebook, MJ Dickson, on Instagram, Twitter. Yep.
Oh, and one more small piece of information about MJ. Her favorite character on Supernatural is not Sam, it is not Dean, it's Baby.
Damn straight it is. She's beautiful. She literally is my favorite character. Oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, sweetheart. And back to you, Stan. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, me. All right. So hey, you got to throw it back to the studio. It's kind of like what you do. But anyway, I thank you so much for watching the show. Thank you, EK the DJ from FXBG Public Radio, for streaming this live for me and for always being there for me. And thank you for watching and continuing to watch and follow and comment and do all that other really cool stuff. Make sure that you follow the links that MJ gave. Again, mjdixon.com. You can find her on Twitter. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her in the UK. If you're out there by chance, just stop in, say hi. Hi, MJ. How you doing? Wish I could. I will eventually one day. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. There's so many guests coming in the future. There may be times when I can do it every week, times when I have to kind of skip a little bit. But hey, I will always be here for you because, I'm just that kind of guy. But yeah, again, thank you so much. Have a safe and very happy Halloween. And we will see you next time.